Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Project Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, Sheryll. And on this podcast, we help ambitious women like you find clarity, gain confidence, and create the life she deserves. In today's episode, we're talking about why you're broke. And it's not just about money. We've all heard it before. Money doesn't buy happiness. And sure, that's true. But let's be honest, being broke can make happiness a whole lot harder to find. It's tough to think about your dreams when you're staring at an overdue bill or avoiding calls from your bank. So today, we're going to unpack why being broke is really just about the number on your paycheck. It's about what you do with it, how you think about it, and here's the big one: what you were taught about money long before you even started earning it. Now, if you're thinking, well, I just need to make more money and then everything will be fine, stick with me because by the end of this episode, you might see things differently. And you might realize you've got more power to change your money situation than you think. Let's get started. Let's talk about the hidden layers of broke. According to a 2024 Lending Club report, 61% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even those earning over $100,000 a year. Yeah, let that sink in. Over half of the country, not just folks working minimum wage, but people who you would think are financially comfortable are still just scraping by. Why? Because broke is less about income and more about how you manage that income, right? I know people that are making $45,000 a year who are doing just fine. They've got savings, no credit card debt, and they take a vacation every year. Now, I also know people who are making over $100,000 a year that are stressed, in debt, and who are counting the days until their next paycheck. The difference, you might ask? No, it's not luck, and it's not magic. It's called choices, habits, and mindset. I have a friend, let's call her Angela, and she was making good money. She had a beautiful apartment, drove a nice car, but every month she was borrowing from one credit card to pay another. And it wasn't that she didn't have income, right? It's more like she had no plan. Rent took half her paycheck. She was eating out 5 times a week and was always shopping to treat herself after a hard day. It's not that she's lazy. She was just never taught how to manage money, and eventually it caught up with her. Now, here's the thing: this isn't just about Angela. This is actually a cultural problem. We've sold the idea that if you just earn more, the stress will disappear. But if your money habits are broken, more money just means bigger problems. Let's talk about discipline, mindset, and self sabotage. Here's another stat for you. Behavioral economics say that 80% of financial success is psychology. 80%, guys, which means only 20% is actually math. Now, think about that. Most of your money outcome is determined by how you think, how you feel, and how you behave around money, not just how much you make or the spreadsheet that's in front of you. See, emotional spending is one of the biggest culprits. You had a bad day, you buy a pair of new shoes, right? You had a great day, You're like, let's dine out. You're bored. Let's scroll Amazon. I know I'm guilty of that. Not the bored part, but the scrolling Amazon part. But there's lifestyle, and these lifestyle creep where your expenses rise right alongside your income, right? You make more, so you spend more without actually improving your long term security. And we can't ignore procrastination, right? Which is knowing that you should budget, knowing that you should start saving, but you keep telling yourself, I'll get to it next month. The truth, money management isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. It's about telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So, here are some action steps to take to stop being broke. Step one, track your money for 30 days. I'm serious. Really decide that you will track your money for 30 days. That means every single dollar. Write it down in a notebook or use an app. I don't care how, just track it. You'll be shocked at how many small leaks you actually find. So, some examples of this, right? You're driving to work in the morning, you stop to get coffee, track it. You stop to get gas, track it. Instead of just getting gas, you wanted to go into the gas station to get, I don't know, water, track it. You call on your lunch break to pay a subscription bill, track it, right? You'd be amazed, like I said, to find these small leaks. Now, step two is to identify those money leaks. Identify where you're wasting money, so to speak. Those recurring charges, those are like subscription, right? The Netflix, the Hulu, the Amazon Prime, maybe, the impulse buys. Those are the things that we need to cut out, even if it's temporarily. So that's step number two. So again, step number one is to track your spending for 30 days. Step number two, identify where your money is being wasted. And step number three, which is very important, is to build an emergency fund. You can start with $1,000 and you don't touch it unless there's a true emergency. This is something like a car repair or a medical bill, or even if you lose your job. So, guys, I know you've heard about this emergency fund before, and I know what you're probably saying right now. I'm not even able to pay my bills with the money I'm making right now. Where will I get the money to start an emergency fund? But the reality is, guys, if you look at it truthfully, if you've been working, right, for over 6 months consistently, even if you change jobs, but you've been working consistently for the past 6 months and you do not have $300 in your account, that is not good, guys. That is not a good place to be. Now, the emergency fund is the thing that will stop us from living one paycheck away from a financial disaster, right? We've all been there where, again, as I mentioned, we need to fix the car or we need to take a quick trip and we have no money. And what do? We rely on our credit card. Now, it's only a matter of time before the credit cards become maxed out, because we have to know that the credit cards are not our emergency fund. So when we are using the credit cards to take care of emergencies, eventually those credit cards will get maxed out. Believe it or not, it takes years upon years to actually pay off. And so you're pushing yourself into even further debt. The solution, guys, is to start that emergency fund. It could be as simple as $20 a week, $50 a week, and have it automated, right? Where it's coming directly out of your paycheck and it's going into a savings account that you name emergency fund, and you keep putting money in there until it gets to $1,000. Now, once it gets to $1,000, you're going to open up another savings account, right? So the first one was your emergency fund. This one will be just a savings account. And the idea, again, is to start automating, putting away $20 a week, $50 a week, whatever it takes until it gets as quickly as possible to another $1,000. This is where you're going to now start looking to invest, right? We all know savings account does not create wealth. What it does, it gives us the discipline, right? It begin to form the habits of us really start saving. So once you get to $1,000 in your savings account, this is where you will start looking to open up things like a money market account. That's the very lowest investment account that you can open, because you actually start earning interest here. Remember, again, on the savings account, there's no interest. At least with the money market, you'll start earning a little bit of interest. And this is where you'll put it in that account, and then you'll start researching, different investment that you can now begin to tap into. And I'm telling you guys, this is the whole idea behind why you're broke. And it's not just about money, because it really is about the mindset, right? You will feel so amazing when you start looking at your bank statement and you can actually see, not only do you have your checking account with your, regular bills, but you also have a savings account aside that have, minimum $300, $500, $1,000, right? Then you start having another savings account that have at least $1,000 in there, guys. You're going to feel so proud of yourself. And believe it or not, you're going to start forming even more amazing habits. So definitely give it a try. Those are your action steps. Again, the first one is to track your money for 30 days. The second is to identify where money leaks are happening and to eliminate them, right? And the third is to start building that emergency fund. Bankrate found that only 43% of Americans can cover a $1,000 emergency from a savings account. That means more than half of us would have to borrow or use a credit card. And we talked about it already. You all know where that credit card leads to: more debt. That's the kind of vulnerability that we're trying to eliminate, right? Now, here's a mindset shift. I want you to catch yourself whenever you say things like, I can't afford it, to say instead, how can I afford it? That one word change opens your brain up to solutions instead of shutting down possibilities, right? Again, like I said, I know some of you might be saying right now, I'm not even able to pay my bills that I have right now. How can I start a savings account? So in essence, your mindset is saying, I can't afford to start a savings account. I can't afford to start an emergency fund. But if you keep thinking like that, then you will never be able to start. So catch yourself when you're saying those negative thoughts to yourself, and to say instead, how can I afford it, right? How can I start a savings account? How can I start saving for my emergency fund? And you'll be amazed how the opportunity presents itself. Here's the truth, guys. Being broke is not a permanent label. It's a temporary condition. And you have more control than you've been led to believe. So over the next few episodes, we're going to dive deeper into relationships, leaderships, and building partnerships that thrive financially and emotionally. I hope you learn some value from this episode today. And I would love that if you do, to share it with a friend who is ready to take back control of their money. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you will not miss the upcoming episodes. Remember, you're not just working for money, you're building a life. Let's make it one that you're proud of. So that's the episode for today, guys. Until the next episode, bye for now.